Dear sisters, there comes a time when the noise of the world grows so loud that it threatens to drown the music inside your soul. You may stand in the middle of the storm, winds tearing at your spirit, doubts whispering at every corner, fear pressing against your chest like a heavy stone. Yet it is in that very place, in the middle of chaos, that a warrior is born. A warrior is not shaped in comfort. A warrior is carved out of fire, out of trial, out of the unrelenting push of life that says, rise or fall, endure or break. The warrior mindset is not about steel or muscle. It is about spirit. It is the ability to look chaos in the eye and say, you may shake me, but you will not take me. You may bruise me, but you will not stop me. It is that steady voice within that whispers when all else is silent, keep going. It is resilience dressed in courage, walking with dignity, even when the ground beneath trembles. A warrior is not shaped in comfort, but forged in the fire of adversity. Comfort may offer rest, but it rarely offers growth. It is in the heat of struggle, in the relentless press of difficulty, that the true strength of a person begins to show itself. When life places you in moments of ease, you learn little about the depth of your own spirit. It is when life pushes against you, when obstacles stand tall in your path, when the weight feels unbearable, that you are given the opportunity to discover what you are truly made of. Adversity is the furnace where resilience is born. A smooth path teaches nothing about balance, but a rough road forces you to steady your steps. The storms you face may seem cruel, yet within them lies the hidden gift of transformation. Every time you are struck down, every time you are stretched beyond what you thought you could endure, something within you grows stronger. It is not in the soft hands of comfort that warriors are crafted, but in the harsh grip of trial. When you meet chaos, it shakes you at your core. It leaves you uncertain, restless, questioning why the world seems determined to weigh you down. Yet those very moments of shaking strip away illusions. They strip away weakness. They strip away everything that does not belong to the strength you are meant to carry. What remains is the essence of a warrior, clear, unshaken, sharpened by the fire of adversity. Comfort would have left you untested. Struggle leaves you unbreakable. Consider the river carving its way through stone. It does not ask permission. It does not retreat. It pushes forward year after year until what once seemed immovable bends to its persistence. That is what adversity does to the soul. It demands persistence. It demands patience. It demands that you keep pressing forward even when progress feels invisible. And just as the stone gives way to water, so too does life yield to those who endure its storms with a warrior's mindset. In chaos, you are called to a higher strength. When comfort is stripped away, you are forced to find stability within yourself. The noise outside may grow louder, but the voice within learns to speak with more power. You learn not to wait for the world to quiet down, but to carry your calm into the noise. That is the difference between those who crumble in chaos and those who rise through it. The warrior understands that comfort cannot be the measure of peace. Peace must come from within, carved out of resilience, anchored in faith, steadied by determination. Adversity does not mean defeat, it means opportunity. Every hardship you face is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of a deeper strength. The fire may burn, but it also refines. It melts away doubt and reveals courage. It clears out weakness and uncovers resilience. It tests your spirit, yes, but it also teaches you that you are far more capable than you imagined. And once you know this truth, you carry it into every future storm with a quiet confidence that cannot be stolen. So when the world feels heavy, when you are pressed against the edge of your endurance, do not despair. Understand that you are in the fire that shapes warriors. You are in the furnace where resilience is forged. Comfort will not carry you through the storms ahead, but the strength born in adversity will. Let every challenge remind you not of what you have lost, but of what you are gaining. Let every trial remind you that you are becoming someone who can stand tall in the face of chaos. A warrior is not shaped in comfort. A warrior is born in fire. And in that fire, you will discover the strength that was waiting inside you all along. Resilience is the silent power that turns chaos into strength. It is not loud, it does not boast, it does not seek the spotlight, but it is always there, working quietly inside the soul. In the midst of turmoil, when everything around you feels broken and out of control, resilience whispers a steady truth. You can endure this. It does not erase the storm, it does not remove the struggle, but it transforms the way you carry them. It teaches you that chaos does not have to define you. Instead, it can refine you. When the world feels as though it is collapsing, resilience is what steadies your steps. It is not about ignoring pain or pretending the weight is light. It is about embracing the storm and choosing not to be swallowed by it. You may bend, but you will not break. You may stumble, but you will not surrender. Resilience is the unseen anchor that keeps you grounded when the winds of chaos try to pull you away. Without it, life's storms can tear a person apart. With it, those same storms become the very training ground where strength is built. Chaos has a way of revealing what is real and what is fragile. It shakes everything, leaving only what can endure. Resilience takes that shaking and turns it into fuel. It gathers the scattered pieces of your spirit and says, "We will go on." It turns the noise into clarity, the doubt into determination, the fear into courage. Where chaos intends to overwhelm, resilience chooses to transform. And in that transformation, you rise stronger than you were before. This power is not always visible to others. People may not see the battle inside you. They may not see the nights you held on when giving up seemed easier. They may not hear the inner voice that reminded you to keep walking even when the road felt endless. But resilience does not need applause. Its victory is not in recognition, but in survival, in growth, in the quiet triumph of standing tall after the storm has passed. The silent power of resilience also teaches patience. In chaos, we often want quick answers, immediate relief, fast solutions. But resilience teaches that growth takes time, healing takes time, rising takes time. It whispers that it is enough to move slowly as long as you do not stop. It reminds you that strength is not always in running, but sometimes in simply standing when everything around you tells you to fall. Resilience is also a teacher of perspective. Chaos can make you believe the darkness will never end, but resilience holds on to the truth that nothing is permanent, not even the storm. It keeps your eyes lifted toward the horizon where light will one day return. It changes how you view hardship, showing you not only what was lost, but what can be gained through endurance. You begin to see the storm not as an enemy, but as a sculptor, shaping your spirit into something more powerful, more unshakable, more complete. Every time you practice resilience, you add another layer of strength to your character. You begin to trust yourself more deeply. You begin to believe in your own capacity to rise no matter what chaos throws at you. That belief becomes a shield. It allows you to walk into uncertainty with a calm that others cannot understand. They may see the storm, but you carry the quiet strength that says, "I have walked through storms before, and I will walk through this one too." Resilience is not about avoiding chaos. It is about turning it into a foundation for growth. It is the power that transforms the very weight that tried to crush you into the strength that lifts you higher. It is the quiet proof that while chaos is loud, resilience is louder in its results. Chaos shouts, but resilience endures. And when you carry that silent power within you, you are no longer a victim of chaos. You are a warrior shaped by it, strengthened through it, and lifted above it. Fear does not disappear, but the warrior walks forward despite it. Fear is a natural companion of life. It arrives uninvited, sits at your table, and tries to whisper doubts into your ear. It tells you that you are not strong enough, not ready enough, not worthy enough. It points to the shadows and convinces you they are larger than they are. Many people wait for fear to vanish before they take the next step, believing that only in its absence can they move forward. But the truth is that fear rarely leaves. It lingers, it shadows, it presses against your courage. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise lies not in the disappearance of fear, but in the decision to keep walking with it beside them. A warrior does not deny fear. A warrior acknowledges it. They feel its weight, but refuse to let it hold the reins. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear dictate the path. Every act of strength is born in the presence of fear. Every moment of growth comes from stepping forward when trembling hands would rather cling to the safety of stillness. Fear is often loudest at the threshold of transformation. Right before a breakthrough, right before a bold step, fear tries to grow taller. It shouts that you cannot. It insists that you will fail. But the warrior knows that fear's voice is not a prophecy. It is simply a sign that you are on the edge of something greater. And instead of retreating, the warrior leans forward. They do not wait for the silence of fear. They move with its noise echoing in the background, proving with each step that fear cannot rule them. Walking forward despite fear requires trust in yourself. It requires believing that even if you stumble, you can rise again. It requires faith that the path, though uncertain, will reveal itself with each step you take. Too often, people let fear build walls in their minds, a wall so high they never attempt to climb them. But a warrior knows that walls are meant to be challenged. They know that what waits on the other side of fear is growth, freedom, and the deeper strength of resilience. Fear tries to chain you to comfort, to convince you that safety is better than struggle. But the warrior understands that safety without growth is its own kind of prison. They choose to step into the unknown, not because fear is gone, but because purpose is greater than fear. The vision of who they are becoming speaks louder than the voice of doubt. The call of resilience outweighs the call of retreat. Even in chaos, fear rises. The unknown shakes the heart, and the mind fills with questions that have no easy answers. Yet it is in those very moments that the warrior's courage shines brightest. They do not pretend to be unafraid. They simply decide that fear will walk beside them, not ahead of them. And with every step taken in spite of fear, the warrior mindset grows stronger. The spirit becomes more unshakable, and resilience takes deeper root. It is important to remember that even the strongest warriors feel fear. What makes them different is their relationship with it. They see fear not as an enemy, but as a signal that they are moving into new territory, into growth, into deeper strength. Fear may travel with them, but it never sets the course. And the more they walk through it, the smaller fear becomes, until one day its whispers hold no weight at all. Fear does not disappear. It may knock at your door. It may try to walk beside you, but you decide if it leads you or follows you. A warrior always chooses to walk forward, to rise, to continue despite the trembling. That is resilience. That is strength. That is the path that leads through chaos into victory. Scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof of survival. Every scar tells a story, not of defeat, but of endurance. They are reminders that you entered the fire, felt the burn, and still came out standing. The world often teaches us to hide our scars, to cover them, to pretend the battles never happened. But a warrior knows better. A warrior carries scars as evidence that chaos did not win. They are not marks of shame, but medals of honor, proof that the storm was real, Yet so was the strength to overcome it. When you face chaos, you do not walk away untouched. You walk away changed. Sometimes that change leaves visible marks. Sometimes it leaves invisible ones deep within the soul. But whether seen or unseen, those marks mean you endured. They mean you found resilience when it would have been easier to give up. They mean you fought battles that others may never know, and you survived to tell the story. Scars remind you of where you have been, but they do not define where you are going. They are part of your story, but not the end of it. They are pages filled with struggle that eventually lead to chapters of strength. Every scar carries within it the lesson that you were tested and that you did not break. The chaos may have left its mark, but it could not steal your spirit. And that is why scars are sacred. They carry not only pain, but also power. There is beauty in a scar when seen through the eyes of resilience. It shows that healing has happened. It shows that time and strength work together to close a wound that once felt unbearable. It shows that you did not stay broken, that you chose to rise. The warrior understands that scars do not reduce worth, they increase it. They mean you carry wisdom that cannot be taught by words alone. They mean you have lived through storms and gained the strength to walk with dignity in their aftermath. Some people will see your scars and misunderstand them. They may assume they are reminders of weakness, of times when life defeated you. But you know the truth. Scars do not come from falling down, they come from rising again. They are proof that you kept walking, that you pushed through the chaos and came out the other side stronger. To the warrior, every scar is a testimony, a symbol that even pain could not silence the will to endure. In chaos, when everything feels uncertain and fragile, scars remind you of your own resilience. They whisper that you have faced storms before and found a way through. They remind you that pain is temporary, but strength is lasting. They become anchors in the middle of new battles, proof that if you survived before, you can survive again. They turn doubt into determination, fear into faith, weakness into wisdom. Scars also connect us to others. They tell stories of shared humanity. No one escapes life without wounds, and in showing your scars, you give others permission to embrace their own. A warrior does not hide the journey, but wears it with dignity, allowing others to see that strength is not in avoiding struggle, but in rising from it. Scars become bridges that unite people through resilience, courage, and the shared experience of survival. When chaos threatens to consume you, remember the scars you already carry. Each one is proof that you have been tested and proven. Each one is a reminder that pain is not the end, but the passage to resilience. The warrior does not curse the scars. The warrior honors them because they mean the fire came and the fire passed, yet the soul still stands. Scars are not signs of weakness. They are the written evidence that survival is possible, that resilience is real, and that the warrior mindset transforms wounds into strength. Every storm carries the lesson that no night lasts forever. Life has a way of pulling us into seasons that feel endless, nights that seem too dark to pass, storms that roar so loud we cannot imagine silence ever returning. Yet, even the fiercest storm must one day grow quiet. Even the longest night must yield to the rising of the sun. A warrior holds on to this truth in the face of chaos, refusing to let the temporary shadows convince them of permanent defeat. In the middle of a storm, it is easy to believe that the darkness is eternal. Fear whispers that the light will never return. Doubt insists that the struggle is too much. Pain makes every moment feel like forever. But resilience teaches a deeper truth. Storms are seasons, not destinies. They come to test, to shake, to press, but they are never meant to last forever. And when you hold on to that truth, you carry a strength that allows you to endure the chaos with dignity. A warrior mindset looks at the storm and says, I will not be broken here. The winds may tear at me, the rain may drench me, but I will outlast this night. That is the power of resilience, the refusal to believe that the present pain is the end of the story. Warriors know that the darkest skies produce the brightest stars, that the breaking of dawn is most beautiful after the longest night. They carry faith not in what they see, but in what they know will come, the certainty that storms cannot last forever. Chaos can convince you that you are trapped, that there is no path forward, yet storms often clear the air, washing away what no longer serves you. They may leave scars, yes, but they also leave wisdom. They may leave broken pieces, but they also leave space for rebuilding stronger. When the storm passes, you realize you are not the same as before. You are deeper, wiser, tougher. That is the hidden gift within the storm, the lesson that endurance itself reshapes you. No warrior is made by walking only under clear skies. Warriors are made by surviving the night, by pressing on when the rain blinds their eyes, by keeping faith when the thunder drowns out hope. They do not curse the storm, they endure it, and in enduring they grow. They know that the night, however long, cannot resist the power of dawn. They stand firm because they trust in what is greater than the storm, the promise of light, the promise of renewal, the promise of resilience that grows stronger every time chaos is endured. Even when the storm feels unbearable, time carries you forward. The night cannot stop the earth from turning, and the sun cannot be held back forever. This truth gives the warrior courage. They do not need the night to shorten in order to rise. They only need the faith to keep moving until morning comes. That faith becomes their anchor. It allows them to walk through chaos with calm, knowing the end will arrive even if they cannot yet see it. Every storm teaches patience, reminding us that waiting does not mean weakness. It teaches faith, reminding us that unseen forces are working even in the dark. It teaches endurance, reminding us that strength is often hidden until it is required. And when morning finally breaks, the warrior who endured the storm carries not only survival, but also the wisdom that light always returns. So when you are caught in chaos, remember the lesson that storms carry. They are loud but temporary. They are fierce but fleeting. They are dark but never eternal. And when the night passes, as it always does, you will rise with the strength of one who has endured. Every storm carries the lesson that no night lasts forever, and it is this truth that allows the warrior to walk through chaos with unshakable resilience. True strength is not in muscle, but in spirit that refuses to surrender. Muscles may falter, bodies may weaken, but the spirit that refuses to bow holds a power that no weight, no chaos, no storm can crush. The warrior mindset is not about how loudly you can roar, but about how deeply you can endure. It is not about the size of your frame, but the size of your faith, not about how hard you strike, but how steadily you rise each time you are struck down. The world often praises physical strength, the visible kind that can be measured, counted, displayed. Yet the true strength cannot be seen with the eyes. It lives within the heart, within the soul, within the quiet decision to keep moving when everything tells you to stop. Muscles may lift burdens, but spirit carries mountains. Spirit holds you when the weight is invisible, when the battle is within, when no one else can see the struggle you face. A resilient spirit is what allows a warrior to walk through chaos with dignity. It is what keeps them standing when circumstances try to break them, when fear rises, when scars ache, when storms seem endless. Spirit whispers that surrender is not an option. This is strength that no chaos can steal. This is the strength that survives even when the body feels weak, even when the heart feels heavy. It is the strength that says, I may be shaken, but I will not be broken. The battles that shape us most are not fought with muscle, but with spirit. When doubt fills your mind, when hope feels far, when fear tries to tighten its grip, it is spirit that resists. Spirit is not measured in speed or power, it is measured in persistence. It is the courage to rise again, the patience to endure again, the will to believe again. This is the strength that warriors live by, the quiet but unshakable force that carries them through chaos. Chaos often strips away what is surface level. It tests muscle, it tests endurance. It tests the body until it trembles. But what remains after everything else is spirit. And it is in that spirit that true strength reveals itself. A person may be weary in body but unbroken in soul. They may carry scars but still carry hope. They may walk slowly but still walk forward. This is the strength that outlasts storms, the strength that makes warriors unshakable. A spirit that refuses to surrender also brings light to others. People may see your resilience, your calm in chaos, your quiet strength, and they may draw courage from it. They may realize that if you can endure, so can they. True strength does not only lift you, it lifts those around you. It becomes a fire that sparks other fires, a reminder that within every soul lies the capacity to stand firm, no matter how fierce the storm. Muscles may fade with time, but spirit only grows stronger the more it is tested. Every battle fought, every scar carried, every night endured without surrender feeds the spirit with resilience. And each time you rise, your spirit tells you again that you are more powerful than any chaos, more enduring than any storm, more resilient than any fear. The warrior mindset is not about never falling. It is about never giving up. It is about carrying a spirit so determined, so deeply anchored, that surrender is never an option. The body may tire, the road may stretch long, but the spirit declares, I will continue. And with that spirit, no chaos can claim victory over you. True strength is not in muscle, but in the spirit that refuses to surrender. And that is the strength that makes a warrior unbreakable. The warrior mindset is choosing to rise every time the world says fall. Life will not always speak to you with kindness. It will not always offer encouragement or smooth roads. More often, it will test you with failure, rejection, disappointment, and loss. The voice of the world may say you are not enough, that your strength has reached its end, that you should stop trying because the weight is too heavy. Yet the warrior carries within them a deeper truth, a steady flame that refuses to be extinguished. It whispers that falling is not the end, but the beginning of another rise. Every person stumbles, every heart breaks, every dream meets resistance. What separates the warrior from the rest is not that they avoid falling, but that they refuse to stay down. When the world says fall, the warrior says rise. When life knocks them down 10 times, they rise 11. That choice defines resilience. It is not the absence of defeat, but the constant decision to meet defeat with endurance. Rising after a fall is not always graceful. Sometimes it is slow, painful, and uncertain. Sometimes it means dragging yourself forward with nothing but determination in your hands. But even that act of rising, however small, is proof of strength. Each rise, each attempt to stand again adds another layer of resilience. It builds character, it strengthens the spirit, it teaches that no fall can permanently define you unless you choose not to rise. The world may not always celebrate your rising. Some may only see the fall, some may doubt your ability to stand again. But the warrior is not concerned with the opinions of others. They rise because their spirit demands it, because their purpose pulls them forward, because surrender would betray the strength they know lies within. They rise not for applause, but for survival, not for recognition, but for growth. Rising again also changes how you see failure. Instead of viewing it as a final judgment, the warrior sees it as a teacher. Each fall carries a lesson, each setback reveals wisdom, each obstacle shapes character. Failure becomes part of the journey, not the end of it. And the more you rise, the less power failure has over you. It becomes not a chain, but a stepping stone, a necessary part of the climb towards strength and resilience. In chaos, the call to fall grows louder. Doubt presses harder, fear becomes heavier, and giving up seems easier. But the warrior understands that chaos only wins if you choose to stay down. Rising in the midst of chaos is the ultimate act of defiance. It is declaring to the storm that it may rage, but it cannot break the will to continue. It is showing the world that resilience is not about avoiding hardship, but about refusing to let hardship define you. Each rise becomes a declaration of identity. You are not the sum of your failures. You are the sum of your risings. You are not defined by how many times life told you to fall, but by how many times you chose to stand again. This is the warrior mindset, the refusal to let the world write the end of your story, the insistence on writing it yourself with every rise you make. So when the world says fall, when voices around you and within you insist that you cannot go on, remember that your strength is proven not by how perfectly you stand, but by how relentlessly you rise. That rise, no matter how small, no matter how difficult, is the essence of resilience. The warrior mindset is choosing to rise every time the world says fall, and that choice is what makes the spirit unshakable. In the end, the warrior mindset is not about living without storms, fear, or scars. It is about choosing to stand in the middle of chaos and discovering that you are far stronger than the world ever imagined. It is about remembering that adversity shapes you, resilience carries you, fear teaches you, scars remind you, storms refine you, spirit strengthens you. And the simple choice to rise again and again defines you. You are not here to crumble under life's weight. You are here to rise above it with dignity, courage, and unshakable resilience. So as you step back into the world, carry this truth with you no matter what comes. You hold the power to endure, to transform, and to triumph. May your storms refine you, may your scars remind you, and may your spirit never surrender. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for sharing this moment with me. Ladies and gentlemen, there are days the sun forgets to shine and the wind howls like it's grieving something we cannot name. Days when the world turns its back and the mirror tells you stories you don't want to hear. But even then, even especially then, you must remember this one sacred truth. Storms do not come to destroy, they come to reveal. And though time may seem ruthless and cold, it is in those very moments of pressure that the diamond steps forth from coal. You are not made of sugar to melt in rain. You are not made of glass to shatter at the first tremble. You are spirit. You are fire. You are more than your wounds. Hard times are not punishments, they are lessons wrapped in thunder. They are the ancestors calling you higher. The winds of struggle do not blow to scatter you, they blow to shape you, to carve out the truth in you that comfort will never teach. When your knees feel weak and your back is bent under the weight of this world, know this: you are not breaking, you are bending into strength. Just like a tree learns how to dance with the wind, so too must you learn to sway without falling. When you've been laughed at, overlooked, cast aside, you are being refined. When you've been left in silence, misunderstood and misnamed, you are being stretched to fit your destiny. Every tear that slips down your cheek has a voice. Every sleepless night carries a seed. Trouble is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Pain is not your prison, it is your proving ground. Every no you've heard is building the yes you need. Every failure is not the end, it is the start of a better kind of success, the kind that cannot be taken, the kind that cannot be bought. Hardship is not a halt, it's the hallway to your higher self. So often we treat pain like a full stop. We believe that when trouble comes, it is a sign that something has gone wrong, that perhaps we took the wrong turn or made the wrong choice, but more often than not, pain is not a punishment, it is a passage. It does not arrive to paralyze you, it arrives to prepare you. It does not block your path, it becomes your path. There is something sacred about walking through what you thought would break you and finding that not only did you survive, you were shaped by it in the best of ways. There are times when life throws you into the fire not to burn you, but to burn away the things that no longer serve you, the fears, the excuses, the doubt. You don't become who you were born to be by avoiding the fire. You walk through it. You walk through loneliness. You walk through betrayal. You walk through nights when sleep won't come and days when joy feels too far to reach. And with each step, something changes, something awakens. Your strength, your patience, your ability to keep loving, even when your heart is tired. This is not the end of you. It is the beginning of a deeper, truer, unshakable you. When you meet hardship with resistance, it fights you. But when you meet it with acceptance, it teaches you. And it is in that moment, in that sacred meeting between your fear and your faith, that growth begins. You begin to realize you are capable of more than you ever believed. The job you lost, the friend who walked away, the door that slammed shut in your face. They were the hand of time moving you closer to who you really are. You don't build muscles in stillness. You build them under weight. You build them through resistance. That pressure you feel, that's your soul lifting more than it ever has before. That ache you feel, that's your spirit stretching into strength. Yes, it hurts. Yes, you're tired, but don't let that fool you. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're training. It means you're in motion. It means you're no longer asleep to your power. Life will ask you over and over again, how bad do you want it? Not in words, but in trials, in loss, in waiting, in long seasons where nothing blooms and yet you must keep sowing. You will want to give up. You will want to go back, but remember this. The hallway is not the end. The hallway is where you transform. It's where your doubt dies and your discipline is born. It's where your fear speaks loud and your courage whispers back. Keep going. There is a version of you waiting on the other side of hardship that will look back and say thank you, not to the pain itself, but to the process. Because without it, you would have never found the fire in your bones. Without it, you wouldn't know how deep your roots go. So walk through the hallway, head high, feet steady. Let the walls talk if they must. Let the darkness press in if it will. But don't stop. Not now, not when you've come this far. Because you're not losing yourself, you're finally meeting who you were always meant to be. Time doesn't test the weak, it trains the willing. Life doesn't choose its battles for those who are soft to the touch or faint at heart. It doesn't look for ease, it looks for effort. And time, in its quiet, relentless way, holds a mirror up to our resilience. It doesn't care for how loud you are when things are easy. It cares for how steady you stay when everything around you is breaking. It doesn't challenge you because you are weak. It challenges you because somewhere deep inside, it knows you are ready to be more than you've ever been. The willing ones are not born with superhuman strength. They are born with the same fears, the same doubts, the same fragile hearts. But what sets them apart is not what they carry, it's how they carry it. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't demand that the storm stop. They simply choose to keep walking, even with trembling hands. They say yes to growth when comfort whispers no. And this is how time begins its training. Not through grand moments, but through quiet endurance. There are days when the world asks for too much, when every door seems shut and every effort goes unnoticed. Those days are the gym where your soul lifts its heaviest weights, not by shouting louder, not by pushing harder, but by staying present, by showing up to your life even when it feels thankless. That is where the real strength is built, in the willingness to keep going without applause, in the decision to believe even when the evidence is missing. Time trains us not with mercy, but with meaning. It doesn't make it easy so we can feel proud. It makes it difficult so we can become proud of who we had to be to make it through. The long seasons of waiting, the disappointments that shake your trust, the setbacks that make you question if you're even on the right path, those are not signs to quit. They are signs you're being trained to handle the very things you asked for. You said you wanted to be strong. You said you wanted to rise. You said you wanted a life with purpose. Well, purpose doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes through pressure, through pruning, through pain that doesn't make sense until it has passed. The weak are not mocked by time. They are simply not ready yet. But the willing are called out into the unknown. They are stretched, they are shaken, they are placed in positions that feel too big, too fast, too heavy, and yet with each step they grow into the shoes they were once afraid to fill. They discover that what once scared them now stands behind them, no longer a wall, but a memory, and memories can't stop you, only fear can. But when you are willing, fear loses its voice. There will come a moment, maybe in silence, maybe in struggle, where you will realize you're no longer who you were. You'll notice that you don't cry as quickly, you don't break as easily, and you don't run from the fire. You walk through it with grace. That's not an accident. That's not luck. That's training. That's the result of every time you chose to show up instead of shut down. So when time comes again, whispering its challenges and testing your resolve, meet it with a yes. Meet it with a willing heart. Because you're not here to avoid the fight. You're here to learn how to win it. Scars are not shame. They're signatures of survival. They speak when words can't, and they testify even in silence. The world may try to make you hide them, cover them, pretend they were never there, but don't. Because every scar you carry is proof that you faced something that tried to destroy you and failed. You are still here, still breathing, still becoming, and that is not weakness. That is victory painted on your skin. You see, too often people mistake scars for signs of brokenness, when in truth they are signs of healing. A scar only appears after the wound has closed. It means the worst part is over. It means you've already walked through the fire and come out the other side. The process wasn't pretty, it wasn't clean, it wasn't easy, but it was real. And in that struggle, in that pain, you were made, not in your comfort, but in your comeback. You didn't choose the hurt. You didn't ask for the betrayal, the loss, the disappointment, but you lived through it. And every day you rise after what tried to pull you down, you prove that pain didn't get the last word. You did. The scar left behind isn't a reminder of the wound, it's a reminder of the warrior. And warriors don't apologize for their battles. They walk with their heads held high because they know what it took to keep standing. It's easy to wish it had all gone differently, to long for a life untouched by grief, by failure, by heartbreak. But untouched people rarely understand the depth of their own strength. They have never been pressed, never been stripped of certainty, never had to fight for joy when sorrow was the only thing in reach. But those who've been scarred, deeply, painfully, truthfully, they learn something more valuable than ease. They learn how to rise, they learn how to rebuild. They learn how to love life again, not because it is easy, but because they know how hard it once was. Scars teach you how to see differently. You start recognizing the strength in others, even if they're quiet about it. You begin to appreciate simple peace, knowing what chaos feels like. You stop judging others' pain because you felt your own and know how invisible it can be. And slowly, you stop seeking perfection in yourself. You start embracing the journey as it is, wounds and all. Because healing is not about going back to who you were, it's about stepping into who you were meant to be. There is power in your scars, not because they define you, but because they remind you. They remind you that you didn't quit, that you didn't let it end you, that you found a way forward when it would have been easier to give up. And if that isn't strength, what is? You are not fragile just because you've hurt. You are not weak because you've cried. The fact that you are still standing after all that tried to break you means that strength lives in your bones now. It means that no matter what comes next, you've already proven what you're made of. So don't cover them in shame. Don't turn away from them in silence. Wear your scars like truth. Let them be reminders not of pain, but of progress. Not of damage, but of depth. Because every scar tells a story, and your story is far from over. What presses you today prepares you for purpose tomorrow. It may not feel that way when the weight is heavy and your back is bent beneath burdens you never asked to carry. It may not make sense when each day feels like a battle just to hold yourself together. But life has a strange way of molding you when you least expect it. The very thing that feels like it's trying to break you is often the thing that's building you. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. There are moments when the pressure seems unfair, when you look around and wonder why others seem to move forward with ease while you are stuck in storms that won't pass. But pressure is not given without reason. It only comes to those who have something in them worth shaping. Gold is not refined without fire. Diamonds are not made without force. And greatness is not born from comfort. It's born from the moments you wanted to give up and didn't, from the nights you cried but still showed up, from the pain that pushed you further than you thought you could go. That pressure you feel is not there to crush you. It's there to carve something into your soul. It teaches patience when life delays what you've prayed for. It teaches strength when everything feels fragile. It teaches resilience when quitting seems easier than hoping. And more than anything, it teaches clarity, because in struggle, your distractions fall away, your excuses lose their power, and all that's left is the core of who you really are and who you're meant to become. There is no preparation without pressure. You can't step into your purpose half-formed, uncertain, or afraid of resistance. That's why you're being stretched now. That's why life is pressing in on you from all sides. It's not because you're not ready. It's because you're becoming ready. And every step you take under that weight is strengthening you for the next chapter. You may not see the path yet. You may feel like you're stumbling in the dark. But purpose is being built with every hard-earned step. You won't know how strong you are until life gives you something heavy to carry. You won't know how deep your faith goes until everything around you is shaking. You won't know your voice until you've had to speak through the noise. And when that day comes, when your purpose calls you forward, you'll realize that nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the confusion, not even the silence. It all prepared you. One day you will look back and see that every delay was a redirection. Every setback was setting the stage. Every heartbreak was hollowing out space for something greater to enter. The pressure was not proof that you were failing, it was proof that you were being refined. And the version of you that emerges will not only carry purpose, you will carry the wisdom of every battle you survived to get there. So when life presses in, don't pull away, lean in, stand firm, breathe deep, and remember, what feels heavy now is building a strength in you that cannot be taken. You're not just enduring, you're evolving. And your purpose is waiting on the other side of this very moment. Comfort builds ease, but struggle builds character. It's human to want rest, to reach for safety, to crave the familiar rhythms of ease. But ease, though sweet and gentle, is not where we grow. It's where we pause, it's where we coast, it's where we settle into who we already are, not who we are meant to become. If comfort were enough to create greatness, then everyone resting in soft places would be rising to powerful heights. But we know the truth. It is the ones who've struggled, stumbled, and risen again who carry depth. They are the ones who speak with power, walk with compassion, and lead with quiet strength. Struggle stretches the soul. It does not ask permission. It arrives uninvited and often unwanted. But its purpose is never to destroy. It comes to reveal the hidden places within us, the ones that strength has not yet touched. And it touches them not with violence, but with opportunity. Struggle asks, will you rise? Will you trust? Will you keep moving even when your legs ache and the road disappears beneath your feet? Comfort never asks that of you. It lets you stay who you are. It gives you softness, but not substance. And in those long seasons where nothing challenges you, you may feel safe, but you do not feel alive. It is in the struggle, when your patience is tested, when your heart is broken, when your plans unravel, that something true is born. You begin to see yourself not as fragile, but as forming. You begin to carry your days with intention, your words with care, your presence with meaning. Struggle doesn't just build strength, it builds empathy. It gives you eyes to see the silent battles in others. It humbles you. It teaches you to slow down, to listen, to understand. It peels away pride and replaces it with purpose. And as you walk through pain that once felt unbearable, you start to recognize your own power, not loud, not boastful, but steady and rooted. There are gifts buried in discomfort that only the willing discover. Discipline, endurance, courage. These are not handed out in places of ease. They are earned when you decide not to run away from the hard things. They are shaped when you show up day after day, even when progress is invisible. They are sealed when you look back and realize you've become someone you didn't know you had the strength to become. And yes, there will be moments when you long for comfort again, when you question why life chose you for certain battles. But those questions are part of the shaping too. They are not weakness. They're signs that you are deep in the work of becoming, that something new is being born within you, not in spite of your struggle, but because of it. Ease may feel like a blessing, but struggle is where you build your voice. It is where your decisions gain weight. It is where your values are tested and made real. You come to know yourself not by how well you rest, but by how fiercely you rise. And when life calls you to lead, to love deeply, to speak truth, you will answer from the place built by every hardship you once thought would undo you. So don't curse the struggle. Don't resist the refining. Character isn't made in still water, it's carved in the flood. Let it shape you. Let it teach you. Let it turn you into someone who not only survives, but inspires. You are not buried by trials, you are planted to rise. In the middle of hardship, it is so easy to believe that life is burying you, that the weight pressing down is too much, that the silence means you've been forgotten. But seeds too are covered by darkness before they break into bloom. Seeds too are pressed beneath earth, hidden from light, surrounded by pressure. Yet that covering is not the end, it is the beginning. That soil, though heavy, holds life. That silence, though long, holds promise. And that pressure, though painful, holds purpose. When life closes in, when your world shrinks and nothing seems to move forward, remember that something deeper is happening beneath the surface. You are being rooted. You are being prepared for growth that isn't instant, but lasting. In those seasons of trial, where nothing makes sense and answers seem far away, your strength is being woven into the fibers of your soul. You are not being forgotten. You are being formed. Rising doesn't always look like standing tall. Sometimes it looks like staying still in the storm. Sometimes it looks like holding your breath through the night. Sometimes it looks like trying again when you're already tired. But each small act of persistence pushes you closer to the surface. Each moment of endurance makes room for the breakthrough ahead. You are not stuck. You are strengthening. You are not sinking. You are settling into the foundation of who you are meant to be. The world teaches us to rush, to fix, to force, but nature teaches us to trust. No flower forces its bloom, no tree fights its way into the sky. It simply grows, rooted in patience and fed by pressure. And so must you. You must learn to see your trials not as prisons, but as preparation. You must understand that even in stillness, you are becoming. Even in the shadows, you are stretching toward the light. When others can't see your progress, that doesn't mean it isn't there. Your rising is not for their eyes, it's for your becoming. You don't owe the world a perfect story. You owe yourself the truth of your own resilience. And that truth is this: you were never meant to stay buried. You were meant to bloom. It's okay if you don't feel strong every day. It's okay if some days feel heavier than others. What matters is that you don't give up. What matters is that you remember where you are is not where you'll stay. Growth is quiet. Progress is often invisible, but it is always happening. When you choose not to quit, that buried feeling, that depth of struggle is sacred ground. From there, you will rise. And when you do, you won't rise empty. You will rise with wisdom that only struggle could teach. You will rise with compassion that only pain could plant. You will rise with power that only darkness could awaken. And you will know that you didn't just make it through, you grew. Not in spite of the trial, but because of it. So when it feels like the world has pushed you down, remind yourself, this is not the end. This is the beginning of something stronger. You are planted, you are rising. And soon the world will see the bloom that pressure prepared. And so if life has tested you, pressed you, scarred you, or left you standing in the dark wondering why, know this with certainty. You were never being punished, you were being prepared. Every weight you've carried, every struggle you've faced, every tear you've shed has been shaping something powerful within you. You are not the person who breaks. You are the one who bends, grows, rises, and keeps rising. Time reveals the truth, and the truth is you are always tougher than the trials meant to stop you. Let the world see your strength, not in how loud you speak, but in how deeply you've grown. Let your scars speak of victory. Let your pressure speak of purpose. And let your rising speak for itself. You are not finished. You are only getting started. Good luck on your journey ahead, and thank you for listening. Keep growing, keep going. Good evening. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when the air shifts, when the quiet whispers grow louder, and your heart begins to drum a different rhythm. It is in those sacred moments that the invisible hand of the divine reaches down to touch your life, promising a change so profound it will shape the very essence of your being. You may not see it coming. You may not hear it clear at first, but the signs are there. Big, unmistakable signs that tell you something beautiful is about to unfold. The first sign is a stirring deep inside, a restless fire that no comfort can quiet. It is a hunger not for food or riches, but for meaning and truth. You feel the old walls cracking, the familiar no longer enough. Your spirit calls out, yearning to rise beyond the ordinary, aching to break free from the chains of doubt and fear. This unrest is not a curse, but a blessing in disguise. It is the divine whisper telling you that you are ready to step into a new chapter. It asks you to lean in, to trust the trembling within your soul, because that trembling is the pulse of change beating in your vein. There is a stirring inside you that you cannot quite explain. It is a feeling that creeps up slowly at first, like the gentle whisper of the wind brushing against the trees, almost unnoticed but growing steadily stronger with each passing day. This restlessness is not simply discomfort or dissatisfaction. It is the soul's quiet rebellion against the confines of a life that no longer fits. You may find yourself waking up with a heaviness in your chest or feeling a yearning that no possession or achievement can satisfy. This deep unease is the first sign that something extraordinary is on the horizon, a signal from beyond, a divine nudge that the life you have known is about to transform. This restlessness is sacred. It is the voice of your innermost self, calling you to remember who you truly are and who you are meant to become. It cannot be ignored or silenced by the noise of the world or the distractions that often fill our days. It is relentless and persistent because it carries with it the power of change. It shakes the foundations of comfort and complacency, urging you to step beyond the familiar boundaries you once accepted without question. This is no small thing. It is the soul's way of telling you that the season of stagnation has ended and a new chapter is ready to be written. In this space of unrest, you may wrestle with fear and uncertainty. The unknown can feel like a vast, dark ocean, and you may hesitate to let go of the shore you know. But this restlessness is a sacred invitation to courage, a call to trust the unseen hand guiding you forward. It asks you to embrace discomfort, not as a burden, but as a companion on a journey toward growth. It challenges you to shed the old skin of doubt, habits, and limiting beliefs that have held you back, and to rise with the faith that the life waiting for you is far greater than the one you are leaving behind. Often this stirring awakens a hunger, not for material things or fleeting pleasures, but for deeper meaning and purpose. You begin to see beyond the surface of daily routines and to question the true value of your efforts. This hunger is the beginning of a spiritual awakening, a divine hunger that seeks fulfillment not in what can be bought or controlled, but in what can be lived and shared. It invites you to align with a higher calling, to pursue a life rich with intention, passion, and love. This is the moment when the ordinary begins to shimmer with a possibility of the extraordinary. As this restlessness grows, you may notice subtle shifts in your thoughts and actions. The things that once brought comfort may no longer satisfy. Relationships, jobs, and environments that seemed stable might now feel limiting. You start to dream bigger, to imagine possibilities that once felt out of reach. Your heart opens wider to hope and to the promise of transformation. This change does not happen overnight, nor does it come without struggle, but it is happening nonetheless, quietly and steadily, like the dawn breaking the longest night. Remember, this deep restlessness is a divine sign. It is a sacred invitation to awaken from the sleep of routine and step into the fullness of your life's purpose. It is the universe's way of telling you that you are ready to grow, to heal, and to become the magnificent person you were always meant to be. When you lean into this stirring rather than resist it, you begin to move toward a life that is richer, fuller, and infinitely more beautiful. Like this is the first and powerful sign that God is about to change your life forever. Trust the restlessness. It is the heartbeat of your transformation. There comes a moment when, despite the storms raging around you, a calm begins to settle deep within your heart. It is unexpected, like a gentle stillness after a tempest, a quiet peace that does not depend on the circumstances of your life. This peace is not the absence of trouble or struggle, but the presence of something greater, a grace that wraps around your soul, softening the sharp edges of fear and worry. It is a sacred sign, a divine message telling you that transformation is quietly taking root, even in the midst of chaos. This peace feels like a balm, soothing the restless spirit that once cried out for change, but feared what that change might bring. It does not come from outside sources or fleeting moments of happiness, but rises from within, a steady flame that no hardship can extinguish. When you feel this peace, it is as if the universe itself is whispering to you, hold on, trust. For you are not walking this path alone. It is the assurance that the divine hand is guiding you gently toward the life you were created to live, even when the road seems uncertain or the night grows long. In this sacred stillness, your perspective begins to shift. You start to see your struggles not as punishments or failures, but as necessary steps on the journey. Each challenge, each heartbreak, and each setback become lessons in resilience and faith. This peace teaches you to embrace the process rather than rush the outcome, to find meaning in waiting and strength in patience. It reminds you that transformation is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is the quiet unfolding of a new season in your soul. This calm invites you to release the weight of yesterday's burdens. It asks you to lay down your fears, your regrets, and your need for control, opening your hands and heart to what is yet to come. In doing so, you make space for new blessings to enter your life. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but a courageous act of trust, a willingness to be led by a power far greater than yourself. It is in this letting go that you begin to experience true freedom, the freedom to be renewed, to heal, and to grow into the person you were meant to be. As this peace deepens, it becomes a guiding light, steady and unwavering. It helps you navigate the twists and turns of life with grace and confidence. When doubt threatens to cloud your vision, you remember this calm and hold fast. When fear whispers lies of defeat, this peace rises within you like a shield, reminding you of your strength and worth. It becomes the foundation on which you build your new life, a quiet certainty that no matter what comes, you are supported and loved beyond measure. This sacred stillness also opens your heart to gratitude and hope. You begin to notice the small miracles that surround you, the kindness of a stranger, the beauty of a sunrise, the laughter of a child. These moments of grace become anchors in your day, reminders that even in the darkest times, light is present and love is at work. Your faith grows not because all things are easy, but because you have learned to trust the unseen, to believe in the power of a divine plan unfolding in perfect timing. This peace is a precious gift, a sign that the seeds of change are growing beneath the surface. It calls you to be patient, to keep walking even when the path is unclear. It reminds you that the greatest transformations often begin in silence, and that sometimes the most profound shifts happen when we stop striving and start trusting. When you embrace this calm, you step into a sacred space where miracles can happen and your life can be forever changed. Hold on to this peace. It is the heart's assurance that you are on the brink of something beautiful. There comes a moment when the way you see yourself and the world around you begins to change. It is subtle at first, a gentle unfolding of vision that reveals new colors in the tapestry of your life. The broken pieces you once wished to hide now catch the light differently, showing a beauty that was always there but unseen. Your scars, once sources of shame or pain, become marks of courage and testimony to the battles you have survived. This shift in perspective is a powerful sign that transformation is not just near but already underway. In this new way of seeing, you begin to understand that every failure and setback was not an end, but a necessary part of your story. Those moments you feared would define you instead become lessons etched into your soul, teaching you strength, patience, and resilience. What once felt like defeat now reveals itself as preparation, a shaping and molding by life's fires that makes you wiser, braver, and more compassionate. You start to carry your history not as a burden, but as a badge of honor, knowing that it has brought you closer to your true self. This change also touches how you view others in the world around you. Suddenly, you notice the grace in ordinary moments, the smile of a stranger, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the quiet beauty of a morning sunrise. The world is no longer a place of harsh judgment or cold indifference, but a sacred space full of possibility and wonder. This new vision invites you to walk with open eyes and an open heart, ready to embrace both the challenges and the gifts that life offers. You begin to see your purpose more clearly too, no longer distracted by the illusions of perfection or success defined by others. You tune into the unique path that is meant for you. Your dreams take shape not from pressure or comparison, but from the deep knowing of your soul's desires. This clarity gives you courage to move forward, even when the future is uncertain. It is a reminder that your worth is not measured by your past mistakes, but by your willingness to grow and keep trying. As this perspective shifts, you find a new dignity in your daily walk. You carry yourself with a quiet strength, grounded in the knowledge that you are becoming. The fear that once held you back loosens its grip, replaced by a steady confidence that no matter what comes, you have the inner resources to face it. This is not arrogance, but humble acceptance of your own power and potential. It is the grace of someone who has learned that true change starts from within. In this transformation, forgiveness plays a vital role. You begin to forgive yourself for the times you stumbled, the chances you missed, and the pain you carried. You realize that holding on to guilt or regret only keeps you chained to the past. Forgiveness opens the door to freedom and healing, allowing you to move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. It is through this act of grace that you reclaim your story and step fully into the life that awaits. This evolving vision of yourself and your world is a profound sign that God is working quietly but powerfully in your life. It is the unveiling of your true identity and purpose, the awakening to a life lived fully and fearlessly. When you embrace this shift, you begin to walk with a new rhythm, one that carries the promise of hope, renewal, and endless possibility. This change in perspective is not just a moment, it is a movement of the soul. It is the sign that your life is about to be changed forever. There is a peculiar and powerful way in which life begins to close doors around you, not as punishment or loss, but as a gentle yet firm redirection towards something greater. These doors may be opportunities you once pursued with hope, or relationships you once cherished deeply, yet suddenly, without explanation, they begin to shut. At first, this closing can feel like rejection or failure, stirring confusion and even sorrow. But this is not the end. Rather, it is a divine signal, a sacred guidepost marking the path away from what no longer serves your highest good and toward what awaits you in the fullness of your destiny. When doors close, it can feel as though the world conspires to hold you back. You may wrestle with questions and doubts. Why now? Why me? Why this door? Yet these closures are not random or cruel, but deliberate acts of grace. They clear the way, removing distractions and detours that keep you from your true calling. The universe is making space in your life, clearing away what is worn, tired, or misplaced so that fresh blessings and new beginnings can enter. It is a divine clearing, a sacred pause that invites you to trust the unseen plan unfolding for your life. This process teaches a profound lesson in surrender and faith. It asks you to release control, to let go of attachment to outcomes and familiar comforts. It is not easy to watch a door close, especially when the next step is unknown. Yet in releasing what was, you create room for what will be. This openness is a courageous act of trust, an embrace of the mystery and promise of transformation. It asks you to believe that what lies ahead, even if invisible now, is better, richer, and more aligned with your soul's purpose. As doors close, you may feel called to pause and reflect. This is a sacred invitation to look inward, to listen deeply to your heart's whispers and your spirit's longings. It is a time to discern what truly matters and to realign your life with your deepest values and dreams. In this space, clarity begins to emerge. You start to see that some losses are blessings in disguise, that endings are the fertile soil from which new beginnings grow. This perspective shift opens you to hope and possibility, even in the midst of uncertainty. Sometimes closed doors lead to new paths that you had never imagined. They push you out of comfort zones and familiar patterns, inviting you to expand and evolve. This can be a time of remarkable growth and discovery, a season where you learn to trust your inner voice more fully and to lean on a power greater than yourself. The closed door becomes a threshold, a passage into a life filled with deeper meaning and greater purpose. This redirection also teaches resilience. It reminds you that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities to rise again with wisdom and strength. Each closed door is a test of your faith and your willingness to keep moving forward despite uncertainty. It is in these moments that your character is forged and your spirit strengthened. You begin to understand that the divine timing is perfect, even if it does not match your own. When you embrace the closing of doors with grace and trust, you align yourself with a higher rhythm, a sacred dance of letting go and receiving. You step into a space of openness where miracles can occur and where your life can be reshaped in ways you never thought possible. This is the divine choreography of change, where what appears to be loss is actually a profound gain. So when you find doors closing around you, do not despair or resist. Instead, listen closely, breathe deeply, and trust that you are being led to a new and beautiful beginning. This is a powerful sign that your life is about to change forever. Trust the process. Sometimes, in the midst of confusion and waiting, a sudden clarity breaks through like the first light of dawn piercing the darkest night. It comes unexpectedly, without warning, a clear vision that illuminates the path ahead and awakens a spark of hope deep within your soul. This clarity is a powerful sign that God is about to change your life forever. It is the moment when the fog lifts and you begin to see beyond the challenges, beyond the doubts, and into the realm of possibility that has always been waiting for you. This vision may arrive as a quiet knowing, a gentle nudge in your heart, or a vivid image of the future you long to live. It cuts through confusion and fear, offering direction and purpose where before there was uncertainty. When this clarity comes, it feels like coming home to yourself, finding alignment between who you are and who you were meant to be. It reveals the path that your spirit has been yearning to walk, even if you could not see it clearly before. With this new vision, hope is reborn. You begin to dream again, not in a fragile or fearful way, but with boldness and confidence. The possibilities that once seemed out of reach now feel tangible, and your heart swells with the courage to take the next step. This clarity does not promise an easy journey, but it offers a certainty that you are on the right path, guided by a higher power that knows your worth and destiny. As this vision unfolds, you find yourself drawn to purpose with renewed energy. You begin to see how your past struggles and lessons have prepared you for this moment. What once felt like setbacks now makes sense as stepping stones, each one shaping the person you need to become to fulfill your calling. This realization fuels your determination and resilience, reminding you that you have everything within you to succeed. This clarity also helps you prioritize what matters most. The noise of distractions and doubts begins to fade as your heart focuses on the goals and values that truly resonate with your soul. You become more intentional in your choices, seeking alignment rather than approval and meaning rather than mere achievement. This refined focus creates momentum, propelling you forward with purpose and passion. In this newfound vision, fear may still visit, but it no longer holds dominion over you. Instead, you learn to walk alongside fear with faith, recognizing it as a companion on the journey rather than a barrier. This courage is born from the deep knowing that the path you are on is divinely guided, and that every step, even the difficult ones, leads you closer to the life you were created to live. This clarity can also bring a sense of peace amidst the uncertainty. Even when the road ahead is not fully mapped out, you trust that the divine plan is unfolding perfectly. You embrace the mystery of the journey with open arms, knowing that what lies ahead is far greater than what you can imagine. This trust transforms your mindset from one of scarcity and fear to one of abundance and hope. When this sudden vision breaks through, it is a sacred gift, an invitation to step boldly into the life awaiting you. It asks you to listen deeply to your heart, to follow the path illuminated before you, and to believe wholeheartedly in your own potential. This clarity is a beacon of light, guiding you away from doubt and hesitation toward a future filled with promise and purpose. So when you experience this moment of sudden clarity, hold it close. Let it fuel your faith and inspire your steps forward. This is one of the greatest signs that your life is on the brink of a beautiful and lasting change. Embrace the vision, for it is the dawn of your new beginning. There is a quiet but undeniable drawing, a pull towards certain people, places, and opportunities that feel like they belong to the story God is writing for you. This attraction is not random or accidental. It is a gentle but firm guidance from the divine, leading you toward the life that has been prepared just for you. When you notice yourself gravitating toward new faces, unfamiliar paths, or unexpected chances, it is a powerful sign that your life is on the cusp of transformation. These encounters and openings are not mere coincidences, but pieces of a greater puzzle coming together to usher you into your next season. This pull often feels like a stirring inside your heart, a whisper that says you belong here, that this moment matters, that this connection holds promise. It may be a person who inspires you, someone who challenges your old ways of thinking and invites growth. It may be a place where your spirit feels at home, a space where possibilities seem endless and your dreams can breathe. It may be an opportunity that aligns with your deepest values and passions, one that feels both exciting and right, even if it comes with risks or uncertainty. When you pay attention to these subtle invitations, you begin to see a pattern, a divine orchestration that weaves your life's threads into a tapestry rich with meaning. This guidance is gentle, requiring patience and trust, but persistent enough to steer you away from what no longer serves you. It redirects your energy and focus toward what nourishes your soul and helps you grow into the person you are meant to be. It is a sign that you are awakening to your purpose, that you are ready to receive the blessings waiting for you. Often, following this pull demands courage. It asks you to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the unknown. It may require letting go of familiar people or places, even if that feels painful, because holding on would keep you from the greater good ahead. This journey is not always smooth, but it is rich with learning and growth. Each new connection or chance is a gift, a stepping stone on the path toward your destiny. The divine hand is guiding you carefully, placing just the right people and moments along the way to support and uplift you. As you move toward these new people and opportunities, you may find yourself changing in unexpected ways. Your heart softens, your mind expands, and your spirit becomes more alive. These encounters open doors to fresh ideas, healing, and wisdom. They challenge old beliefs and inspire new dreams. The energy around you shifts, and you begin to feel more aligned with your true self. This alignment brings a sense of joy and purpose that fills your days with meaning. This pull also reminds you of the importance of discernment. Not every new person or opportunity is meant to stay forever, but each serves a purpose in your growth. Some may teach you lessons you needed to learn, while others may walk alongside you for a season, helping you gain strength and clarity. Trusting this process requires faith that every encounter is part of a divine plan designed to shape you and prepare you for the life ahead. When you listen to this inner guidance and follow where it leads, you find yourself moving toward a future that feels bright and hopeful. You begin to experience synchronicities and moments of grace that confirm you are on the right path. Doors open more easily, challenges become manageable, and your sense of purpose deepens. This alignment between your heart's desires and the opportunities before you is one of the clearest signs that God is at work, transforming your life in ways you may not yet fully understand. So when you feel this pull towards certain people, places, or opportunities, do not ignore it. Lean into it with faith and courage. Let it guide you toward the abundant life waiting just beyond the horizon. This is a sacred sign that your life is on the brink of a beautiful and lasting change. Trust the guidance, for it is leading you home. As we come to the close of this reflection, remember that these signs, the restless stirring within, the unexpected peace that calms your heart, the new vision that transforms your view, the closing doors that guide your steps, the sudden clarity that lights your way, and the gentle pull toward what truly belongs to you are not mere coincidences. They are sacred invitations from the divine, calling you to embrace the change that is waiting to unfold in your life. Trust in this journey, walk with courage, and open your heart to the beautiful transformation that is already taking shape. May you move forward with faith and hope, knowing that your life is about to be changed forever in ways more magnificent than you can imagine. Good luck on this remarkable journey, and thank you for sharing this moment of inspiration with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, opportunity is not a door that swings open by chance. It is not a stroke of luck, nor a fleeting wind that decides on its own to lift you to greatness. No, opportunity is a muscle, a rhythm, a song your mind must learn to play long before the stage is set. You see, the mind is a garden. If you plant doubt, you will reap hesitation. If you plant fear, you will harvest regret. But if you plant belief, deep and unwavering, you will grow a mind that sees doors where others see walls. You will walk paths no one dares to tread, because you have trained your mind to recognize the call of opportunity. Too often we say we are waiting, waiting for a sign, waiting for the right time. But the truth is, opportunity does not wait. It whispers in moments of struggle. It hides in the lessons of failure. It reveals itself when you choose courage over comfort, when you prepare yourself not for the world as it is, but for the world as it could be. You must feed your mind with knowledge, sharpen your skills, speak with confidence, learn the power of silence, the grace of patience, the art of resilience. Train your brain not to see obstacles as endings, but as instructions, blueprints for a way forward. Let me tell you this, you do not have to come from wealth to be rich in vision. You do not have to wear a title to carry wisdom. You do not have to wait for permission to be great. The opportunity you seek is already waiting for you, but it will not come to a mind that is unprepared. So train yourself to see beyond the ordinary. Train yourself to listen for the whispers of destiny. Train your mind, and when opportunity knocks, you won't just open the door. You'll be ready to walk through it, bold and unshaken. Your mind is a garden. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, and every word you speak is a seed planted deep in the soil of your consciousness. What you plant today will determine the harvest you reap tomorrow. If you plant belief, strong, unwavering belief, but if you plant doubt, if you allow fear and hesitation to take root, you will find yourself trapped in a cycle of uncertainty, never quite stepping into your full potential. Imagine a gardener who dreams of a beautiful, flourishing field. He stands before the soil, seeds in hand, yet hesitates. He wonders if the ground is good enough, if the rain will come, if the sun will shine. Instead of planting his seeds with confidence, he begins to question. He plants a few, but then digs them up to check if they're growing. He waters some, but lets others dry out in neglect. With so much doubt in his mind, his garden never flourishes. Now imagine another gardener. She walks to her soil with purpose. She knows that growth takes time, but she does not doubt the process. She plants her seeds with faith, waters them with consistency, and nurtures them with care. Even when she cannot yet see the sprouts breaking through the soil, she trusts that they are growing, and in time her garden flourishes. Not because she was lucky, but because she believed in the process and committed to it fully. Your mind works the same way. If you constantly plant seeds of doubt, telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, what if I fail? Then your potential will wither before it even has a chance to grow. Doubt is like weeds in the garden of the mind. It spreads, it chokes out new ideas, and it strangles creativity before it can bloom. The more you feed doubt, the more it multiplies, and soon it will take over everything. But when you plant belief, when you tell yourself, I am capable, I am prepared, I am ready, your mind begins to work in your favor. You start looking for solutions instead of obstacles. You start seeing opportunities instead of limitations. You begin to walk with confidence, knowing that even if challenges arise, you have the strength to overcome them. Belief is not just wishful thinking. It is a force, a power that fuels action. When you truly believe in yourself, you do not wait for permission. You do not hesitate in fear. You move forward with courage. You speak with certainty. You speak with you take bold steps. You trust that even if you stumble, you will rise again. But belief requires care. You must protect it from negativity, from those who try to sow doubt in your mind. You must water it daily with positive reinforcement, with knowledge, with practice. You must surround yourself with people who uplift you, who remind you of your strength, who see the greatness within you, even when you momentarily forget it yourself. A well-tended garden does not grow overnight, and neither does a strong mind. It takes patience, persistence, and faith in the process. But if you plant belief today, if you commit to replacing doubt with confidence, hesitation with action, and fear with determination, then in time you will look around and see that you have cultivated a life filled with opportunity, success, and fulfillment. So choose your seeds wisely. Plant belief, nurture it, protect it, and watch as your mind, your future, and your life blossom beyond your wildest dreams. Opportunity is not luck. It is not a rare gift reserved for a chosen few. It is not something that happens only to those born into privilege, nor is it a fleeting moment that appears only when the universe decides to be kind. Opportunity is a mindset, a way of thinking, a habit of seeing the world not as it is, but as it could be. Too often people believe that success is a matter of luck, that some people just happen to be in the right place at the right time. They assume that the stars must align, that fate must intervene, or that they must wait patiently for their turn. But waiting is not a strategy, and luck is not a plan. If you look closely at the most successful people, you will find that what appears to be luck is actually the result of preparation, persistence, and the ability to recognize and seize opportunity when it comes. Think about this. Two people can stand in the same room, hear the same conversation, see the same situation, yet one will walk away with a life-changing opportunity while the other sees nothing at all. Why? Because opportunity does not come labeled with a flashing sign. It does not announce itself loudly or wait patiently for you to notice it. It often disguises itself as hard work, as a challenge, as a small, seemingly insignificant moment that only those who are prepared will recognize. This is why opportunity is not about luck, it is about mindset. When you train your mind to be open, to be alert, to be ready, you begin to see possibilities where others see dead ends. You start looking for ways to grow instead of reasons to quit. You stop blaming circumstances and start shaping them to your advantage. A mindset for opportunity means believing that you are capable even before the proof exists. It means staying curious, always learning, always improving. It means seeing failure not as an end, but as a stepping stone, a lesson, a necessary part of the process. It means understanding that no one is coming to hand you success. You must be willing to build it yourself. There is a famous saying, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. But here's the secret. Opportunity is always around you. It is in the conversations you have, the skills you develop, the risks you take. The real question is, are you prepared for it? If you want more opportunities in life, start by shifting your mindset. Stop waiting for permission, stop making excuses, stop assuming that success is for other people. Start preparing yourself, start building your skills, start positioning yourself in places where opportunities can find you. Because when you have the right mindset, you don't wait for doors to open, you build your own doors. You don't wish for success, you work for it, step by step, until what once seemed impossible becomes your reality. Opportunity is not luck. It is the product of a prepared mind, an unstoppable spirit, and the courage to act when the moment arrives. So train your mind, stay ready, and when opportunity comes, because it will, you won't just be lucky, you'll be ready. Waiting is a trap. It is the silent thief of time, the comfortable excuse that keeps dreams locked away, and the invisible barrier between where you are and where you could be. How many times have you heard someone say, I'll start when I'm ready. I'll take the leap when the time is right. I'll go after my dreams when I have more money, more experience, more confidence. And how many times have those same people remained in the same place year after year, waiting for the perfect moment that never comes? You see, waiting feels safe. It gives the illusion of being careful, of being smart, of avoiding mistakes. But in reality, waiting is often just fear in disguise. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. We convince ourselves that if we just wait a little longer, we'll feel more prepared, more confident, more certain. But the truth is, the longer we wait, the more paralyzed we become. Waiting is not preparation. Preparation is active. It is learning, practicing, taking steps forward, even when they are small. Waiting, on the other hand, is passive. It is standing still, hoping that life will somehow align perfectly so that action becomes easy. But life doesn't work that way. There will always be something that feels uncertain. There will always be risk, and there will never be a perfect time. Think about this. How many inventions, businesses, books, or ideas have died in the minds of those who waited too long? How many talents have gone undiscovered because someone kept saying, "One day I will," but never did? How many lives have remained unchanged because people kept waiting for a guarantee before taking a step forward? Success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who start. It comes to those who are willing to take action even when they don't feel completely ready. It comes to those who understand that confidence is not something you wait for, it is something you build by doing. Have you ever watched a child learn to walk? They don't wait until they are sure they won't fall. They try, they stumble, they get back up. And with each step they get stronger, more balanced, more capable. If they waited until they were ready, they would never walk at all. The same is true for you. You don't need to wait until you feel ready to start a business, to apply for that job, to write that book, to chase that dream. You just need to begin. Start messy. Start unsure. Start afraid if you have to. But start, because movement creates momentum. Action builds confidence, and the sooner you take that first step, the sooner you will realize that you never needed to wait in the first place. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And if you don't take action, you will wake up one day and realize that you have spent your entire life waiting for the right time, the right circumstances, the right feeling, while opportunity passed you by. So stop waiting. The time is now. The opportunity is here. The person who can change your life is already inside you, waiting not for the perfect moment, but for you to decide. Your brain is the engine that drives your life. It is the control center of your thoughts, your actions, your decisions, and ultimately your success. And like any engine, it requires fuel, the right fuel to perform at its highest potential. If you want to grow, if you want to recognize opportunities, if you want to step into a life of achievement, you must feed your brain with knowledge, wisdom, and experiences that push you forward. But here's the truth. Most people are starving their brains. They consume negativity, distractions, and mindless entertainment, but they neglect the nourishment of deep thinking, learning, and personal growth. They fill their days with gossip, social media, and fear-based news, but they rarely take the time to read, to study, to challenge their own thinking. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they lack direction, why success seems so far away. Your brain is a powerful tool, but it is only as strong as what you put into it. If you want to expand your mind, you must make a habit of feeding it well. Books are one of the most powerful ways to shape your mind. They give you access to the thoughts of the greatest thinkers, the most successful leaders, and the most creative minds in history. Every book you read adds a new layer to your understanding, a new perspective to consider, a new strategy to apply in your life. If you read just one book a month, that's 12 books a year, 12 new areas of wisdom, 12 opportunities to expand your thinking. Imagine what that could do for your growth over 5 years, over 10 years. The knowledge you gain today will build the success you achieve tomorrow. The people you surround yourself with will either expand your thinking or limit it. If you want to grow, spend time with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who push you to think bigger. Listen to those who have achieved what you aspire to. Ask questions, seek out mentors. Engage in discussions that stretch your mind rather than shrink it. Too often, people stay within the comfort of conversations that reinforce what they already know. But growth happens when you step outside of what is familiar. Find people who see the world differently than you do. Debate ideas, exchange perspectives. Let your mind be shaped by wisdom greater than your own. Learning doesn't just happen through words, it happens through action. Your brain grows when you expose it to new experiences, new environments, and new challenges. Travel to new places, try new skills, step outside of your comfort zone. The more you experience, the more adaptable, creative, and resourceful your mind becomes. Have you ever noticed how a child learns? They don't just sit and listen, they explore, they touch, they try, they fail, they try again. Their brains are constantly developing because they are constantly engaging with the world in new ways. As adults, we must do the same. Growth does not come from staying in the same routine, doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts. It comes from seeking out new opportunities to learn and evolve. Your brain thrives on challenges. The more you push it, the stronger it becomes. If you want to grow mentally, seek out problems to solve. Take on difficult tasks. Learn skills that at first seem impossible. Every time you challenge yourself, your brain adapts, creating new neural connections that make you sharper, more capable, more confident. People often avoid challenges because they fear failure. But what they don't realize is that the struggle itself is what builds strength. Just like muscles grow through resistance, your mind grows through effort. If everything in your life is easy, you are not feeding your brain, you are starving it of the growth it needs to reach its full potential. Growth does not happen by accident. It requires intentional effort. Feeding your brain is not just about what you consume. It's about how consistently you do it. Set aside time every day to read, learn, and reflect. Be mindful of what you allow into your mind. Cut out the negativity, the distractions, the things that drain your focus. Invest in your education, whether through books, courses, or experiences that challenge you. Make learning a lifelong habit, not something you do only when it's convenient. A mind that is not fed properly becomes weak. It becomes filled with self-doubt, excuses, and fear. It becomes passive, easily influenced, and stuck in the same patterns of thinking. If you do not make the effort to expand your mind, the world will shape it for you, and not always for the better. But when you commit to feeding your brain, when you choose to seek knowledge, to embrace challenges, to push yourself beyond your limits, you unlock a power within you that cannot be stopped. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You begin to think in ways that set you apart. You build a mind that is prepared for success. So, ask yourself, what are you feeding your brain today? Because the thoughts you consume, the knowledge you gather, and the challenges you embrace will determine the life you build. Feed your brain well, and there will be no limit to what you can achieve. Greatness is not reserved for the wealthy. It is not confined to those who wear titles, sit in high positions, or have power handed to them by birthright. Greatness is something far deeper, far richer, and far more accessible than society often makes it seem. It does not come from a bank account, a degree, or a title before your name. It comes from within, from the choices you make, the way you live, the impact you leave on others. Far too often, people believe that they need more money, more recognition, or more status before they can begin to make a difference. They think that greatness is something that comes after success, after they have achieved a certain level of wealth, after they have reached a certain position, after they have gained a certain level of influence. But the truth is, greatness begins where you are, with what you have right now. History is filled with people who changed the world despite having no wealth, no titles, and no special advantages. Think of the leaders, the visionaries, the revolutionaries who were born into poverty, who were underestimated, who had nothing but a dream and the determination to make it real. They did not wait for permission. They did not wait for wealth. They stepped forward with courage, using what little they had, and in doing so they changed the course of history. Greatness is not about privilege. It is about purpose. It is about seeing a need and stepping up to fill it. It is about recognizing your own potential, even when no one else does. It is about refusing to accept mediocrity, no matter where you come from or what limitations you may face. Money can buy influence, but it cannot buy character. It can buy attention, but it cannot buy respect. The most powerful and lasting impact comes not from wealth, but from the way you treat others, the way you serve, and the way you lift those around you. Think of the teachers who change lives with nothing but their words and wisdom. Think of the mentors who guide others without ever seeking recognition. Think of the volunteers, the activists, the creators who make the world better with nothing but passion and persistence. These people may never hold high titles, but they embody greatness because they live with purpose. You don't need to be rich to be kind. You don't need to be famous to inspire. You don't need to be powerful to lead. True greatness is not measured by what you own, but by what you give, your time, your energy, your knowledge, your love. There are many people with impressive titles who do little to impact the world, and there are many people with no titles at all who change lives every single day. A title is nothing if it is not backed by integrity, by hard work, by service. If you want to achieve greatness, focus not on what the world calls you, but on what you do. The most respected leaders are not those who demand recognition, but those who lead by example. The most influential people are not those who chase power, but those who lift others up. Your title does not make you great. Your actions do. Your wealth does not make you valuable. Your character does. Too many people delay their own greatness because they believe they need something more before they can start. They tell themselves, I'll help others when I have more money. I'll chase my dreams when I have the right connections. I'll start making a difference when I have more recognition. But greatness does not wait. It does not ask for permission. It does not depend on perfect conditions. If you want to inspire, start speaking words that uplift those around you. If you want to lead, start by being an example of courage and integrity. If you want to change the world, start by changing yourself. Your mindset, your habits, your daily actions. You already have everything you need to step into your greatness. You have your voice. You have your mind. You have your ability to learn, to grow, to take action. These are the true tools of success. Not wealth, not titles, but the commitment to live with purpose and passion. At the end of your life, no one will remember how much money you had in your bank account. They won't remember the titles you held or the awards you received. What they will remember is how you made them feel. They will remember the impact you had, the kindness you showed, the way you lived your truth. Greatness is not about being better than others. It is about being the best version of yourself. It is about leaving the world better than you found it. It is about recognizing that you do not need external validation to create something meaningful. So don't wait, don't doubt. Don't tell yourself you need more before you begin. You don't need wealth or titles to achieve greatness. You just need to step forward right now with what you have and make the most of it. Because the truth is, you are already enough. Boldness is the key to unlocking your potential, breaking through limitations, and stepping into the life you were meant to live. It is the difference between those who dream and those who do, between those who watch from the sidelines and those who step onto the field, between those who wait for permission and those who create their own opportunities. Being bold does not mean being reckless. It does not mean acting without thought or care. It means having the courage to stand firm in who you are, to take action even when fear whispers in your ear, and to trust yourself enough to move forward despite uncertainty. But here's the truth. Most people live their lives playing it safe. They settle for comfort instead of reaching for greatness. They hesitate, overthink, and second-guess themselves until the opportunity is gone. They let fear hold them back, convincing themselves that the right time will come later, but later often turns into never. If you want to achieve anything meaningful in life, you must be bold. Fear will always exist. It is a part of being human. But bold people do not let fear control them. They feel the fear, acknowledge it, and move forward anyway. They understand that waiting for fear to disappear is an illusion, because fear never truly goes away. The only way to overcome it is through action. Think of the great innovators, leaders, and creators of history. Do you think they were fearless? No, they were just bold enough to act despite their fear. They took risks, they spoke up, they pushed boundaries, and in doing so, they changed the world. Fear says, what if I fail? Boldness says, what if I succeed? Fear says, what will people think? Boldness says, what I think matters more. Fear says, what if I'm not ready? Boldness says, I'll figure it out as I go. The choice is always yours. Listen to fear and stay where you are, or embrace boldness and step into your potential. Too many people silence themselves out of fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of standing alone. But boldness means using your voice, even when it shakes. It means standing up for what you believe in, even if others disagree. It means knowing that your opinions, your ideas, your contributions matter, and refusing to let anyone diminish them. Bold people do not wait for permission to be heard. They do not shrink themselves to make others comfortable. They speak their truth with confidence because they know that staying silent only leads to regret. If you have something to say it. If you have a dream, pursue it. If you have a vision, share it. The world does not change through quiet hesitation. It changes through bold voices that refuse to be ignored. No one ever achieved greatness by staying in their comfort zone. Every success story is built on risk, on the willingness to step into the unknown, to try something new, to take a chance on yourself. Starting a business is risky. Asking for a promotion is risky. Moving to a new place is risky. Putting yourself out there, trying something new, chasing a dream. It's all risky. But what's even riskier? Regret. Regret is what happens when you let fear keep you stuck. It's what happens when you play it safe your entire life and then look back wondering what could have been. If only you had been bolder. Failure is temporary, but regret lasts forever. So take the risk, make the move, dare to go after what you truly want. Because even if you fail, at least you will know that you tried. And that is worth more than a lifetime of wondering, what if? In a world that constantly tries to make you fit into a mold, being yourself is an act of boldness. Society will tell you how to dress, how to act, how to think. It will pressure you to conform, to blend in, to follow the rules without question. But bold people do not let others define them. They embrace their uniqueness. They refuse to dim their light to make others comfortable. The most successful, influential, and inspiring people are those who own who they are, fully and unapologetically. They do not waste energy trying to fit in. They do not change themselves to meet the expectations of others. They stand firm in their identity, and because of that, they stand out. Be bold in who you are. Own your strengths. Own your quirks. Own your voice, because the world does not need more copies. It needs originals. Here's a secret. No one ever truly feels ready. Not the CEOs, not the artists, not the leaders, not the innovators. Everyone starts with doubt, with uncertainty, with that little voice that says, maybe I'm not good enough. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't? Bold people move forward anyway. They take the leap before they feel ready. They trust that they will figure things out along the way. They understand that waiting until you feel ready is just another form of fear, an excuse to stay where it's safe. If you wait until you feel 100% prepared, you will never start. If you wait until the perfect moment, you will be waiting forever. You will start now. Be bold enough to begin before you have all the answers, because the truth is you will never have all the answers, but you will learn as you go. Look around at the people who inspire you, the people who have built something incredible, who have left a mark, who have turned their dreams into reality. What do they all have in common? They didn't wait, they didn't hesitate, they dared to be bold. The world is not changed by those who wait for permission. It is changed by those who step forward with confidence, with courage, with determination. It is changed by those who take risks, who challenge the status quo, who refuse to let fear win. So ask yourself, where in your life are you playing small? Where are you letting fear dictate your decisions? Where could you be bolder, louder, stronger? Because the truth is, you already have everything you need. You don't need more time. You don't need more validation. You don't need more permission. You just need to decide right now to be bold. Step forward. Speak up. Take the risk. Live unapologetically, because the bold are the ones who change the world. At the heart of everything we have spoken about today, feeding your brain, seizing opportunities, refusing to wait, stepping beyond fear, and daring to be bold, is one simple but powerful truth. You are capable of more than you think. Greatness is not given, it is created. It is not reserved for the privileged. It is earned through courage, persistence, and action. It does not require wealth, titles, or permission. It requires a mindset, a decision to step forward, to take risks, and to refuse to let fear dictate your life. The people who leave a mark on this world are not the ones who wait. They are not the ones who ask for permission. They are the ones who dare to step forward, even when it's hard. So I ask you, what will you do with the power that already exists within you? Will you stay in the comfort of what is familiar? Or will you step into the unknown, into the bold, into the extraordinary? The choice is yours. But know this, the world belongs to those who take it. So go forward, be fearless, be bold. You were meant for more. Breaking the mold means stepping into your power. Overcoming silence means refusing to let the world ignore your voice. Courage and resilience means standing strong, even when the road is difficult. Inspiring others means leading with authenticity, showing the world what is possible when you refuse to give up. Grace and conviction mean balancing kindness with strength, knowing when to fight and when to listen. And living without fear means embracing the unknown, trusting that you are capable of handling whatever life brings your way. But none of these things happen by accident. You have to choose them. Every single day you have to decide to break free from limitations, to speak up, to believe in yourself even when no one else does. You have to choose to stand tall in your truth, even when it is uncomfortable. You have to choose to be bold, to be relentless, to chase the life you deserve. The world does not need more people who conform. It needs more people who dare to be different. People who walk through life with courage in their hearts, conviction in their words, and purpose in their steps. It needs people like you. So go forward with confidence, speak your truth, rise after every fall, live fully, boldly, unapologetically. Because once you decide to break free from the limits placed on you, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can hold you back.